Hi, everybody. Welcome to Cambridge Econ for Tuesday 4/7. As you see in our calendar for today, we are finishing up our project part one and just the research behind that real world entrepreneur and their business and the ideas that they have. So I thought today we would just take a quick look at how to conduct some searches that might be helpful for you as you are doing your research based on the questions we have. So let's first of all take a look at those questions again. Reminder, in case you didn't stop in yesterday, this side should be done by the end of today, but I don't want you to actually send me an email with the information that you have until you have both pieces of your research done. So we'll talk about the Shark Tank side tomorrow. If and when you finish that piece, then I can get an email with the picture of the completed assignment. So I'm going to use Mark Zuckerberg today as my entrepreneur. Mark Zuckerberg is credited with the founding of Facebook. So I would put his name on this side and I would put Facebook as my contribution. And when I'm starting to think through my questions, I'm going to give you some hints and some tips today to how we might do some research to answer these questions. So first thing that I might do is in my screen, I would just go ahead and just type in Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook just to give me some initial background information. I see that the first link that comes up is with Facebook. I'm going to notice that it's going to be really tempting over here just to go ahead and click on Wikipedia link because it's nice and big and bold and it's the first link that pops up. But remember, we are staying away from Wikipedia. So I'm not going to click on the first one, but I might start with this biography.com website to give me some information and just some background. I see that I can learn about his early life in the first part of the website. There's some quick facts about like when he was born, where he went to school, his education as I go through. So this website would be good to give me some background. I see that he did go to college, but after his sophomore year, he dropped out to devote himself to his new company. So here I'm going to see a little bit of information on maybe his inspiration. I see that he built a program called Course Match, which helps students to choose their classes based on course selection. I see some information on people that were helping him in the early stages of development, so I could use that information. And then I get a little bit further and I see Mark Zuckerberg and founding Facebook. So I would go ahead and I'm going to read through this information. And I'm going to use it in order to answer some questions. So when I go back to the list of questions that I started with, I see that I need to think about using that online information to help describe Mark Zuckerberg. So what characteristics can I use? The need or the gap. I definitely know that I just saw some information around his developing this software called Course Match, which helps students choose their classes based on course selections of other users. So even though this wasn't Facebook itself, it is early information that he developed an initial program in order to match the needs of students on college campuses with the program that he was creating. I also know that he found a need and this like little niche for Facebook because he saw that originally this wasn't something that was available for students at Harvard. So their inspiration and their idea came out of kind of this gap at the university and the ability for students to connect. If you're finding that one website isn't enough, you can be a little bit more specific in your search. So I might type in a more specific research point that I'm looking at. So we see that the very first website that comes up when I Google characteristics of Mark Zuckerberg is a study that was done by CNBC. I click on that website. And I see that I have his top 5 personality traits according to a supercomputer, which is ironic because he does a lot with technology. So this could be an interesting website to use. It'd be really nice if I could match these characteristics with some other information that I find as I go, but otherwise these 5 are a really great start. I can also take every question and kind of turn it into a search in Google. So if I go back and now if I'm looking for kind of my question for how did they think of their idea, what was their inspiration, I'm going to say in my search engine, inspiration, oops, I can't spell, behind Facebook. So I'm going to turn those things into a search. I see this face mesh, which was something that was repeated on another website. When I'm doing searches, I know that if I see something more than one time, it's going to be more credible of a result. And that's going to be something I can rely on. Business Insider is going to be a good website. I see the real story behind the social network and Facebook. So I might dive into this website and kind of see what I'm finding there. Everything that we search for, we want to make sure seems like we can back it up on another site. So if you find something and it seems a little crazy or outrageous, try to find that information on another site. And if you don't find it there, definitely don't use that as part of your research. The last question, how is that business doing today? If I open up another tab, I might type in something like the success of Facebook today. And I see some different data points that I can use to support my answer. That last question, we're definitely looking for numbers and statistics. So within 10 years, Facebook announced that it had 1.2 billion monthly active users. Now it has 2.3 billion people. You might include something for that last question about the net worth of that entrepreneur today. So I might type in net worth of Mark Zuckerberg in 2020. And just with a real quick lookup, I know this is not like diving into anything, but he is worth 58.2 billion US dollars. And I feel like that definitely speaks to the success of the entrepreneur and the business. So any of those kind of searches can be very helpful as you're going through and you're doing your initial research. Remembering we're only filling out the left side of our page today, and we will talk tomorrow about how we fill out that right side.